Welcome to Focus on Dearborn. I'm Jackie Kaiser. Over the years, we've done a variety of programs on issues dealing with Dearborn. Today, we're going to focus on the mayor. We're going to take a look at what he does, who he is, and how he and his administration impact our community. While producing this program, we spoke with Mayor Michael Guido and some of his key department heads, and we followed the mayor as he drove around the city and talked with people, held meetings, attended ceremonial events, and did all of the things that he needs to do as part of his job. What does he think of his job? Here's what he had to say.
I enjoy being the mayor of Dearborn. I don't think there's a greater city in this country, and I've been to many major cities, and I know a lot of the mayors around the United States. And although we have common problems with budgets and federal mandates and state mandates and different issues, I always still have, it still brings a great smile to my face because I truly enjoy being the mayor of this town. I mean, the people of Dearborn are committed to the city. They are absolutely committed to the city. And most people either grew up here or have been here a long time, and it's a very internal thing. I mean, they just live Dearborn daily, and it makes my job so much easier because everybody truly loves the community.
The mayor's official day begins anywhere between 6 and 7 a.m., sometimes at Jim's place on Michigan Avenue. This is one of many opportunities during the week to meet informally with the citizens of Dearborn.
The mayor is looked upon in this community as a problem solver, and I think that being accessible to the public is very important, especially here in Dearborn. Mayor Hubbard was known for driving the streets. I drive the streets. Mayor O'Reilly was known for belonging to many fraternal and service organizations, and he had interaction with people there. I belong to several different clubs, but my system of being able to get that constant feedback is kind of a sign of our times. I have a call-in TV show, and people get to call in and talk to me on Cablevision and say, you know, Mayor, we have a problem with this, or what do you think about that? And I get that immediate interaction with the public. Also, I have an open house, which allows people to come in without an appointment and just sit down and tell me what their problem is.
Every month, the mayor spends an afternoon meeting more formally with citizens who need help solving community-related problems.
My one-on-one sessions, I think, are very important to the community and very important for my administration. It gives me that hands-on opportunity with the public. It keeps me in touch with the public, with their problems. Anyone can come. There's no appointments necessary. It's first come, first served. And I'll sit there for 1 hour, 2 hours, 3 hours, 4 hours, 5 hours until I finally have to get up and do my call-in TV show. So I'm there, for several hours. They bring me problems, they bring me compliments, sometimes they bring me produce from their gardens. But it's a great opportunity for me to talk to the people, and it's part of my demeanor, I think. They call me the people mayor, and it's important for me to be with the people, and that's a great way to do it.
He's a great people-to-people person. I think he comes across as he is, genuine. I believe when people meet him, they like him. They don't always agree with him, but they like him, that they know they're not getting conned. In this day and age, trust is very important for a public official, particularly if they want to survive.
The monthly Mayor's Forum is another opportunity to give citizens a chance to ask questions or make their concerns known.
My question is, and my concern is that I live in the Monroe Outer Drive area.
Okay.
And the old Plaza drugstore building at Monroe and Outer Drive. It's kind of an eyesore, and I was wondering if we know the status.
I think it's very important for people in Dearborn to know who their mayor is and to have a hands-on type relationship with their mayor. So Anything that we can do to encourage that, I think, benefits the people in the street and also benefits our mayor because he's obviously very talented at the one-to-one interaction.
We asked the mayor what he considered to be the most important part of his job.
I think the most important thing that the mayor does is provides an image for the community and a vision for the community of where he wants the city to go. And the mayor has to plan that vision or goal and start out on a course and try to get the community to follow. And it's not always easy, but it's by far the most important. I envision a city of good services and low taxes and good commercial areas and you know, a great place to grow up and go to school, and that's the kind of thing that Dearborn has been known for, and that's the kind of things we work toward every day. Trying to get new construction in here, trying to get new businesses. I mean, so many businesses are looking for green fields. They are going out to Brighton or Novi or wherever there's open field. They can start up fresh and not have to worry about anything. Trying to keep the businesses in an older industrial area is very difficult. And so it's important for me to keep telling people how great it is to do business in Dearborn and how good the community is. And the taxes are low and they get good services for their money. And it's working, and a lot of it's due because of Ford Motors' commitment to the city, and a lot of it's due to our marketing with the Chamber of Commerce.
Groundbreakings are part of the ceremonial duties of the mayor. But groundbreakings like this one at the Henry Ford Retirement Village reflect months of discussion, planning, and cooperative interactions that bring a new business like this into the community. And some of those cooperative interactions are needed between the mayor and city council. We asked the mayor how he compared his first term in office, when the city council was typically not in agreement with his views and objectives, with his second term and the current council, who more frequently concurs with his views.
Yeah, my first term as mayor, even though we achieved some great things in terms of public safety and providing good services, was really marked by my relationship with the council, or my lack of relationship with the council, the city council. And it really caused great concern for me, and it caused great concern for the community. And when I was up for re-election in '89, I asked the people of Dearborn, either help me with a good city council so that we can get more done and do greater things and better things, you know, or elect the other city council, maybe someone else for mayor. Anyway, needless to say, a new council was elected, and my relationship with them, I think, is very good. They still vote no on some of my projects or programs, but the way they vote no is a hell of a lot better than it was 4 years ago. They say these are the reasons that we're not, you know, voting for it, and then it's incumbent on me to try to convince them. But for the most part, they've gone with a lot of the programs, and the city is seeing a lot of things happening. I mean, we're just doing a whole lot of things in town that never could get done before because there's always this animosity, this fighting. And I'm not saying you have to have, you know, a rubber stamp or, you know, they have to go along with everything, but at least give me the opportunity to present the program and let some thinking people decide what it is. I mean, ultimately, if the program is wrong, it really rests on my shoulders, you see.
Director of the Department of Public Works, Kurt Giberson, shares his thoughts on working for Mayor Guido.
I guess I would say that working for our mayor is difficult because he has such high standards, and he sets a good example as a manager as well. He has great attention to detail. He's very dedicated to the job. He's completely committed to the city of Dearborn and making sure that we deliver good services to the citizens. So he sets up a very high standard, which is a real challenge to keep up with. Since he's a hometown boy, this is his love. Nothing means more to him than that. And that kind of motivation keeps us all on our toes.
The mayor travels around the city regularly, what he calls driving the city, in order to see what's going on.
I drive the neighborhood every day, a different area of the city every day. It takes me about a month to get through the whole city because there's there's over 22 districts, but by the time you get a whole district really well, it takes about a month. I really think that's important. I have a good feel for how a neighborhood's going. I have a feel if there's a problem house in a neighborhood and what we have to do to take care of that if people aren't maintaining their property. That one problem there could take us anywhere from 3 days, 10 days, 3 months, or in one case that we're just finally taking a house down that we've been working on for 4 years. It just takes sometimes that long to take care of a problem house. But unless the neighborhoods are strong and people maintain their property, the city's not going to be a vibrant place to live. So unless you go out into the neighborhoods and see how they're doing and talk to the people, then you really don't know.
I can't tell you the number of times that I've been in his car, either driving him or as a passenger, and he'll say, pull over, and we'll get out and we'll pick up a tree limb that perhaps was blown down during a storm, or we'll see rubbish out in the street and we'll pick it up and we'll put it in his trunk. Just the other day we were talking about bus stops, and the mayor was saying that he had passed by and noticed an elderly woman standing with her Kroger bags, and he picked her up and he took her home. So, you know, those are the types of things that people don't hear about or, you know, don't read about, but they happen constantly, and people should know that they have a person there who's just driven by his passion for the city.
Orville Hubbard was the driving force behind the idea of the mayor and department heads driving the city. Since Hubbard's time, it has been a rule of the mayor that the department heads submit reports on problems they find in the district they're supposed to drive. The dedication to filing those reports and the way in which those reports are handled has been different depending on the mayor's inclination. Mayor Guido takes these reports very seriously. Director of Finance, Dr. Robert Archer, talks about how Mayor Guido dealt with a particular department head who didn't get his report in on time.
He doesn't holler at people, and he doesn't go around acting arbitrary, but he makes it clear when he wants something done. We've had a technique for years. Every department head has a section of the city, a district. He's expected to write it frequently and turn in a written report of anything that's wrong, a street sign that's messed up, a chuck hole in the road, dilapidated house that the building department ought to get after. And with varying degrees of attentiveness, department heads have played that particular role of being a sort of a city inspector. With Orville Hubbard, you turned it in promptly. So this mayor came in and said that he'd like them and he wanted them every 2 weeks. And he finally called me one day, one of those few times when the phone rang. He said, Mr. X, prominent department head, has once again failed to turn his district report. I said, yes, sir. What are we going to do about that? He said, well, you will deduct 3 days' pay from his next paycheck. And I said, well, that's okay. Obviously, you have the right to do that. He said, I'm aware of that. And I said, the only problem with doing it just that way is that if I give the orders in payroll, what people are going to begin to hear. He says, as a matter of fact, I wish you'd just whisper it around to people and go ahead and do it through payroll. He said, I don't want a public announcement. I don't want to embarrass them out with the outside. Just I want people around here to understand I mean it when I give them a job.
If the mayor is the driving force behind the wheel of government in Dearborn, the department heads are the horsepower that make it happen. Their communication and interaction with the mayor on a day-to-day basis is vitally important to making our city government function efficiently and smoothly. Every Tuesday morning at 7:30, the department head meeting takes place in the mayor's conference room. The mayor starts by relating to the group any announcements or issues of concern that he has. Then, each department head talks about his or her own area.
Department head meetings are enjoyable, and yet you learn a lot. The mayor is very dedicated to doing the best he can, so when something goes wrong, you might be called about it and at a department head meeting. And I think the other fellow department heads, you know, have a feeling then for that person. Number one, they're glad it wasn't them, but number two, you feel for that person and you want that person to do the best that they can. And there is a sharing, whether that comes from the legal department or whether that comes from finance or whether that comes from building and safety. We all need each other. I think everyone understands that, and there is a tremendous cooperation amongst us.
My relationship with the department heads is, I think, is fairly good. I'm a pretty fair boss. I expect certain things from them, and if they don't deliver, then obviously they can't work for me. I mean, it's as simple as that. I'm ultimately responsible to the people of Dearborn, and if I can't count on my department heads to provide the service where and when needed, well then, you know, they're not worth having on the payroll. I'm a hands-off manager in the sense that I don't go to every department head every day and say, what are you doing? I have department head meetings where they report to me, but I leave a lot of the everyday reporting to my executive assistant, who has an extremely important job in my administration.
With the department heads, I try to act as the liaison. A lot of times what I'll do is I'll ask the department head to frame the issue a little bit more carefully, and I'll let them know what I think the mayor's concerns would be, so they should think about those before presenting their issue to the mayor, so that when they do actually have time with the mayor, the time is well spent and it's as productive as possible. And therefore, the mayor can make a decision relatively quickly.
While he insists on interdepartmental cooperation, of course, and interaction, at the same time, he will allow latitude and freedom to the people in charge, or that he places in charge of achieving specific objectives. And that's a very good attribute. Mayor is generally available for us to contact if we have difficulties or if we have questions along the way of completing our mission.
He allows you to do your job and is there to advise or give support or provide resources if you need them and ask for them. But otherwise, he lets you do what you were hired to do. And that's real nice. And his accessibility makes that a lot easier. So if you get going with something but you need to touch base, he's available.
We asked the mayor and several of his department heads to tell us which city issue was the toughest. It probably comes as no surprise that the answer was money.
Trying to have enough money to continue the good services that Dearborn have been known for has been very difficult. It's a real fine line and fine balance to be known as having the world's best public services, still continue to provide those, and keep low taxes. It's almost an impossible job. We've worked really hard in trying to make cuts where we felt they wouldn't be noticed by the public, and trying to preserve the good things like good public safety, police and fire, good parks and recreations, libraries, things like that, and put all our energy and resources toward that. We privatized some of our services, cut our workforce substantially. When I was on the city council, we had 1,500 employees. Today we have 860. So as you can see, we've cut our workforce dramatically, and that's helped us keep the tax rate lower.
I think the biggest problem facing the mayor in 1993 and the years to come has to do with resources, the availability of them. The problem is that they've been dwindling. The Ford complex is worth less and less as we go on, and the state tax people have been leaning in the direction of the large corporations and helping to reduce their tax load. It's going to be difficult, and the mayor, for organizational purposes, initiated in the last year and a half, 2 years, a different approach to governing. We've all been directed and have by now read Reinventing Government, how you go about it, the whole period, an idea about involving employees. I've been telling the employees at the bargaining table, you know, maybe 10 years from now, if these things work and everybody helps make it work, your unions may not be necessary anymore, because you'll be getting out of your job what you should get, your fair, equitable amount of what's available, and you'll be doing your job more productively, more efficiently, because you won't have somebody shoving you around telling you how to do it. You're going to be allowed to make those decisions yourself. We will be boiling down the number of people who work for government simply because the taxpayers can't afford to have that many people doing what's getting done. So far, the Dearborn people have been very supportive of services in Dearborn. In fact, when we've done polls, they've even indicated that modest increase in taxes they would prefer rather than to see certain services cut.
Everybody talks about the mandated programs the schools have. Well, the cities are being buried with mandated programs. They keep cutting your source of revenue and passing down these mandates. Like we've got this Rouge cleanup, which is going to be horribly expensive, and we're expected to do it with less revenue. We've pretty much gone through it with recycling. Everybody jumps up and down and says recycling is great, but it's like over $1 million out of our annual budget that we didn't have to spend before. So it's going to be money. You can't do anything without money. You can't pay the people. You can't build golf courses. You can't do anything.
You can talk all you want about the economic issues that impact the city, and they are important issues. But the most important thing is people and interactions with them. And sometimes those interactions aren't positive. Sometimes the mayor stands alone.
Yeah. Well, that can be lonely too, because not everything you do is popular, but you feel it's important for the community. And if you really believe it, you have to fight for it. You have to push it. You have to tell people time and again, and they'll question you, and they'll second guess you, and they'll armchair quarterback you, and they'll do everything. And then when it works out, they said, oh, we knew it was going to work out, you know, or they all want to be invited to the opening, you know, which is fine. But part of the mayor's job is taking the heat for unpopular projects that they may be unpopular at the time, but work out good. I mean, Mayor Hubbard wanted to build a senior citizen building. And now everybody goes, oh, aren't these great? These are great. When he wanted to build it, you know, people went wild. They said, oh, no, you can't build that here. But, you know, you have to fight and press and push for good things, because really the people that agree with you aren't going to come over and say, yeah, go ahead and do it. It's the people that don't want you to do it that always come out, and you have to always fight for what you really believe in.
The mayor has a lot of backbone. He's a good team leader at the top. He lets you feel that it's important that you participate in any of the decisions that are made. And when you have something that you need, and maybe it's controversial, but it might be the right thing to do, in all cases that I've noticed in all kinds of policy decisions, he's had the backbone, and he has always done the right thing. And although it might not be politically popular to do, I've seen him do it. And at times when I thought maybe he would back off, but I appreciate that, and that certainly makes the job a lot easier.
I think the mayor's greatest strength is his willingness and ability to take a stand on a particular issue that is the correct stand for the long-term benefit or benefit for the city and the residents of the city. Even though taking a stand like that may be politically unpopular at the moment, or may be opposed by organized special interest groups. There are not many politicians that will, or elected officials that will take that kind of a stand, but the mayor will and does with regularity.
The addition of Buddy's Pizza to the West Dearborn Business District is an example.
The mayor felt, as we felt, that it would in fact add excitement to the district, and it would be an enhancement, and it would draw people to the district from a much wider range than other establishments had been doing. And in fact, you can go out there, the mayor was right, even though there was opposition to it. You can go out there now and find that, in fact, there are people stopping there and eating there that never stopped in West Dearborn before.
One of the opportunities the mayor has is pretty much go anywhere in the city, but to be able to go into the schools and reading to kids is not only fun and important, but it kind of charges my battery. You know, whenever you think all is lost for the world and all the problems, you know, that the mayor has to deal with, you know, are just going to overcome you. You go into a first or second grade class and to look at the kids and that happy, innocent look that kids have, and they just love you because you're the mayor, or they love you because you're reading to them, and you go out of there feeling really good, you know, and that you've done something good for the community and for the kids, and it makes you, for a whole month, you can continue all the heartaches and problems that you have to deal with. I don't just limit myself going to schools, just to the elementary schools. I talk at the high school level for government classes and civics classes, and on the college level I've spoken at Wayne State University and Henry Ford and some other schools.
Time with the family is most important for the mayor. Finding that time can be a problem, though. Sometimes the mayor will ask his administrative assistant, Dahlia Greco, to schedule a 2-hour block of time during the day so that he can get home to spend some time with his 2 children while they're awake.
My son Michael has the opportunity to meet a lot of people, and when we're going somewhere, you know, people will go out of their way to say hi to him. I don't really think he understands what the mayor does or who the mayor is in terms of the community. You know, one of his friends' father is a businessman, and another one is a policeman, and you know, and I'm just the mayor, and that's okay, because we really don't want him to, you know, feel more important than anyone else or feel more special than anyone else. We want him to have just a nice, normal childhood, and I think that he's getting that. It's really interesting to talk to people that said, oh, hey, Mayor, I saw your picture in the paper, I saw you cutting a ribbon. And their whole scope or vision of what the mayor does is actually just going out and cutting a ribbon. But the mayor's job is actually a lot more than that, and there's certainly a lot of hours involved in being the mayor. On a typical day, I'm at the office at 7 o'clock in the morning, and on average, I'm not leaving here until 7 or 8 at night. If it's a council night, I don't leave till 10 or 11. If we have special meetings, it's 10 or 11. So I'm putting in, at minimum, 12 hours a day, and usually 15, 16, 17 hours a day. And that's not just Monday through Friday, it's Saturday and Sunday too, where I have to be at special events or programs or give a speech. And I never begrudge the hours, because I ran for mayor, and I really enjoy being the mayor of Dearborn. I think it's the greatest honor a kid who grew up in Dearborn could have, as being the mayor of his hometown.
So how's the Dearborn kid doing? What are his strengths and assets? Here's what his department heads say.
I think he's a generalist, and I think if you're not a generalist, you ought not to be in a position like the mayor of Dearborn. He's able to look at a lot of things and focus his attention on those things that require his attention.
But the mayor is always consistently upbeat, and he always has the drive and the motivation to keep going and to make this the best town that he can make it. So from that perspective, I think that's his greatest characteristic, is his passion for the city.
But he's been able to put people together of different views and get things done. That's his greatest strength, I believe.
Dedication, energy, passion, all attributes used to describe the mayor. Perhaps Kurt Giberson sums it up best.
He seems to be the person who was born into that job, and I'm sure he'd be good at a lot of other things, but the point is that job seems to fit him like a glove.
Well, the glove comes off every 4 years at election time. And indeed, the mayor faces a re-election campaign later this year. Ultimately, it's up to you, the Dearborn voter, to decide whether the job fits him like a glove. This has been a special edition of Focus on Dearborn. Thanks for watching.